Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from astrolada.com, and today my guest is Sidereal and Babylonian astrologer Krasi Attasio, who will lead us through the month of March. And she's also offering two promotional readings for any of our viewers, which is regarding the eclipses, looking at the chart and how the eclipses of 2024 will affect you. It is down to $160 from normally $250, which it does for eclipses for the next 2 weeks, and also promotional reading on your Babylonian horoscope, seeing your horoscope through the eyes of the constellations, how they used to look at horoscopes 4,000 years ago in Babylon, and especially including visible, invisible planets, heliacal phases, which maybe 10 astrologers in the world do nowadays with this ancient knowledge. Hello, Krasi.
Hello, Wada. Hello, everyone. Yes, month of March. How fast we are in March, Wada. Yes. So month of March will be very, very full of celestial events. The most important event, of course, is the eclipse, on the lunar eclipse on the axis of Pisces, Virgo Sidereal. Pisces, Virgo. Also, we will say 2-3 words about this eclipse, what to expect from the eclipse for the world, for us. Then we have the disappearance of Venus. Venus becomes invisible again in Aquarius. In the first degree of Aquarius, Venus becomes invisible. And this is very important. She will be months invisible. She appears in July. Her disappearance is very important because she's changing basically her principle, her energy. She becomes very different. And you know what she rules? She rules love, she rules finances, she rules abundance, she rules joy, she rules many things. So from morning star, she becomes invisible. She descends mythologically into the nether world. She becomes Persephone, she becomes Ereshkigal. She also can be the energy of the Sumerian Ishara. You know, she has different, we can say even incarnations or manifestations. And all of them have something similar, which is that she's ruling the nether world and she's very wise, but she's not very generous when it comes to love life because she's not there. So this is, I have to start with this so that people know this is not good period to get married or to start financial projects or to register new businesses because you need Venus to bless you. She's the money, you know, not only, but you know. So this is very important point.
And Venus becomes invisible towards the end of March, yeah? So people still have a lot of March.
No, not much. 8th of March, she becomes invisible.
Because when I did as well, the calculations for me shows towards
it will have slight differences according to the location.
where
Yeah.
you are, yeah.
Count it approximately then from mid-March, she will not be there to be visible. It doesn't mean that she's not there. From our perspective, we don't see Venus. And in the same moment, we know Mars is invisible, you know. So this becomes, in terms of love, people who are very much influenced by Mars and Venus can have very deep, emotional, romantic experiences, secret loves, all this, you know. Venus, when invisible, is very complex. She's very magical. She's, I love this energy. You know, if people research the energy of Persephone, Ishtar, Ereshkigal, this is beautiful, wise energy, you know, of somebody who actually knows everything because she knows all secrets. She knows all mystical secrets of everything, of the invisible part of life, if you want, you know. So this is very beautiful energy, but unfortunately not benevolent for what we really want to happen immediately. You want immediately financial results. You want immediately love, if you want, you know, and this is not the most appropriate timing. Also, during almost the whole March, we have 3 invisible planets in Aquarius. And so will be the situation also when the eclipses take place. And the first eclipse, as you know, 25th of March. and the 2nd, 8th of April, this corridor, I mean, they go together. So when people will be searching for my advice on eclipses, of course, we look at them as a whole. You cannot separate them. So anyway, this year, the whole 2024, since Rahu and Ketu moved backwards, into the axis of Pisces, Virgo, the eclipses will take place there, logically, because they follow the movement of the lunar nodes. And this axis becomes triggered tremendously by the eclipses. And this is axis of knowledge, but also 12th house of the zodiac. It is the axis of the human being, the humans, the health. If you want, this is the karma that we pay. This is our some difficulties, of course, for the humanity. These eclipses will trigger a little bit. Also, I will not speak about this now, but Mars becomes visible in Pisces. So this axis is very, very much influenced and will promise big humanitarian changes in, human influence changes for the whole world. And these invisible planets, conjoining in Aquarius, as we are at the edge of the year of Aquarius, of course, I look at this, as if they're having assembly with their Lord, the Sun, as the ruler of the solar system. And this is about important decisions, what to happen from there on. So I see this as a turning point, this particular invisibility, March, April, and many new events will take place. All will be looking into the year of Aquarius, the new technology, new awakening, new, if you want, also financially, of course. There is, when Venus is invisible, it is as if we're looking how to influence the financial system, of course, which will be triggered also by something else, Uranus changing sign. But there are so many things to speak about. So anyhow, the most important events for March are the eclipse, the first one on this important tax in degree. Which degree? 11 degree Virgo is the moon, and this is where you have a constellation. I don't know if this is visible now, but at least described by the ancients. Isis is holding a child. This is Horus. And this degree is very interesting. It is believed to be related to people who have some important rulership position in society, like major rulers, like judges or big rulers. So eclipse there will influence you. We'll see how many of these will change. This is related to the change of the social system, which we are already into, furthering drastically the change of the social system, because eclipse on this axis of major rulers axis, this degree of Isis.
There can be some crisis there with the rulers.
Yes, because...
Yeah.
Yes, because also when you think, Wada, historically, there is no change of the social system without war. You see, so, and this we see astrologically immediately, that all this is seen through these aspects on the sky. So yes, eclipses, invisible planets. Also, when planets are invisible, we need to be more careful. This is not appropriate time, even if you have waxing moon, good aspects. This is not good timing for, new beginnings, even medical interventions. When we do, we need to be a little bit more careful. This is valid for all 12 ascendants, of course. We need to choose very carefully dates. Oftentimes people need dates for new beginnings, new business, surgery. And during this time, for me, it's very hard to find good date. For this, we need to keep into consideration just to be on the safe side, to have successful work, businesses.
The invisible planets, which means they're conjunct with the sun in March, Venus, Mars, not Mars, Mars did it already, but
Mercury. Saturn is also invisible. Mercury,
Saturn, they do it at the very end of February, but they're still invisible.
Yes.
For some time. You're saying that a lot of new things will happen, but we personally shouldn't start new things.
we can start new things. Like this is a preparation, so to say. It's been decided, let's say, because the invisible planets need to be there to give that blessing to us. Even Saturn you need for great financial success. Saturn, when invisible, he's not there to bless, to, you know what I mean? He's not there to be present, let's say, at your new beginning, at your company registration. You need him to be present, right? To be the judge, if you want. You need Venus to give you the blessing. You need Mars to give you the drive, the motivation. He's also invisible. They are not really invisible literally because they are important for other things. You see, they're important, if you want, for our intrinsic growth, for our awakening. Very important for wisdom, for us finding who we are, looking within ourselves. But if you want something material to achieve, from materialistic point of view, they will not be there to give the signature.
So invisible planets are good for spiritual and internal experiences and realizations and the spiritual qualities of those planets, but not for the external because they're not visible with the naked eye. Isn't Mercury also becoming visible at some point, though, in March?
Yes, he was becoming visible. I think it was just in the beginning of March. In Pisces, he will be visible. Then shortly, you know, he's very shortly will be visible. In Pisces, I don't really care that he's fallen in Pisces. Mercury is always, you know, he's very fast. I find him giving just different way of, let's say, creativity maybe when he's visible. He becomes visible on 8th of March, when approximately when Venus becomes invisible, and he becomes invisible very shortly after that, like approximately a week he will be seen. I think I can check and tell you in a second, but
yeah, I have here becomes invisible. Actually, yeah, 8th and 9th of March will be visible approximately, but it stays visible till the end of the month, actually, for some territories.
Yes, could be for the states, maybe. Could be.
Yeah, maybe 20 days visibility. What can we do when Mercury is visible for 20 days?
In Pisces, beautiful for studies, of course, communication projects, but if they're very, let's say, very idealistic, if they wouldn't involve expectations for high financial return, because then you need Venus and Saturn, and also, why not, you know? So in this sense, yes, to support your studies, to support your media work, media presentation, to support your writing, studying, this sense, very good. Negotiations, yes, very good, but new beginnings, which require, like I told you, the presence of the other planets, you may need to wait a little bit. Yes, so this is the thing. How this will influence the 12 ascendants, maybe we can say.
Okay, yes.
So yeah, to 12 ascendants, just to remind people who didn't see this before, we're looking from sidereal and also tropical modern astrology perspective. So if you have ascendant Aries Sidereal or moon in Aries Sidereal, this will be tropical Taurus. So see very interesting developments, good for people who have Aries ascendant, that Jupiter is present, visible in March also on their ascendants. This interesting conjunction of many planets that we just described is taking place on your 11th house. 11th house, of course, is related to so your social circle, to gains, to children. So there you may have some like not yet visible but big movement taking place, if you want. So there you may need to be a bit cautious. Financially, this conjunction later on can bring you some changes. You may need to be a little bit cautious, attentive with children during the month of March. I would say the entire month of March. In the meantime, also the invisible Mars, especially in the beginning of March, later on Mars is entering Aquarius. But until the first, if you want, half of March, Mars invisible is on your 10th house. He is exalted there, of course. This can, of course, bring big activities, but again, he's invisible. So, in your career place, with people that you work for example. So you may need to watch out a little bit, simply because Mars is not bad in Capricorn, as this is his place of exaltation or his hidden place. But because he's invisible, he's a little bit unpredictable. Therefore, yes, you're very beautifully protected by Jupiter on your ascendant, but watch out a little bit, because the main movement is related to your career, but also, of course, gains, plans. So you could be that you're planning some new projects and things, but make sure that you apply your intuition, that you do not act very impulsively. So these are the main things for people who have Sidereal ascendant Aries. Now we look at people with Taurus ascendant or moon in Taurus, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Gemini. Now for you, Venus becomes your ascendant ruler. Venus becomes invisible in the beginning of March. And then from the second part of March on, you have 3 invisible planets on your 10th house. This may bring further, not immediately in March, but later, changes in your career place, or at least big things, big movements there. On the other hand, Jupiter is quite fine for your health, supportive, helps you to win over enemies, let's say, or to calm down your enemies. Mars is harmonious in terms of drive to studies or to hidden knowledge on your 9th house, because he's invisible. And also, as I said, the main movement for you, the main influence, of these invisible planets is on your 10th house. See, I forgot to mention the eclipse for people who have Sidereal ascendant Aries, Libra. For you, the eclipse is happening on your axis of 12th, 5th houses. So you may need to watch out a little bit for your health and for activation of hidden enemies. But when you know, don't be afraid, you can fix everything. And now for people who have Sidereal ascendant Taurus, sorry, I got back to Aries because I forgot to tell them about the eclipses. Now for you, the eclipse of March is taking place on the axis of 11th, 5th house for you. This is axis of gains, money, children. So there you may have changes. Financially, social circle, connections, there you may experience changes. Which changes, when they start now, count that they will be ongoing changes until the entire year, if you want. Be a little bit more attentive with children and more intuitive with friends. Now we look at people who have Sidereal ascendant Gemini or moon in Gemini, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Cancer. For you, you see this interesting conjunction of planets is on your 9th house. This is great because later on this can result in new projects, new connections, new travel, new spiritual activities, if you want. In terms of education, could be fine, like, but not immediately, like I'm telling you. The eclipses for you take place on the axis of 10th, 4th houses of yours. This will certainly bring modifications in your career place. This will be valid not immediately now. This will take place, because we have 5 eclipses this year, all 5 of your axis of career, home. So this can really have impact on your home situation, like relocation, rearranging of house, bringing business at home, work changes, modifications in the current career place, and so on. So this is the most important change. And then Jupiter makes a good aspect for your finances, blesses your children. So this is good position of Jupiter for you. And now we look at people who have Sidereal ascendant Cancer or moon in Cancer, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Leo. For you, the eclipses take place on your axis of 9th, 3rd houses. This is fine for spiritual work, because then this can bring you interesting new perspectives, awakening, interesting new philosophies. Yes, so this position of the eclipses for your horoscope is really not so bad. Jupiter in March is very good on your 10th house, blesses your career. The conjunction of the invisible planets for you happens on your 8th house. This is interesting in the future, not long future, but let's say in a month time. This can bring changes for you related to finances via partnerships, finances of the partner, finances from unexpected sources if you want. So in this sense, this can, watch out a little bit to not be afraid, worried, because we have serious activation of the 8th house, of course. And yeah, be a little bit more responsible for your health, certainly. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Leo or moon in Leo, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Virgo. For you, this conjunction of many invisible planets is happening right on your 7th house. This can have a little bit of impact on your romantic life, marriage, relationship. Be a little bit more careful, because this is a temporary crisis. It will be over, but you need to remain strong, intuitive, patient, diplomatic. The eclipses on the axis of 8 second houses of yours can awaken some fears, so don't worry so much. No, it happens because of the eclipses, so don't allow fears to take over, Then also they can bring financial changes for you, your partner, or changes related to finances from unexpected sources, or finances via partnership, or in many, many ways. So this is where to watch for a little bit, but Jupiter is very beautiful in your 9th house, trines your ascendant, and is doing his blessing for you, protective. It's like a protective blessing hand of Jupiter towards you, your ascendant. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Virgo or moon in Virgo, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Libra. Now for you, yes, Mercury at certain point on 8th of March becomes visible. This for a week at least can very much support some like study projects, education, media projects, writing for you. In the meantime, also, let's not forget that this eclipse now on the 24th, 25 March is taking place on your ascendant-descendant axis. Yes, this is always related to change, also of your personal plans, choices, if you want. This can have a little bit of impact on your relationship. So there you may need to watch out a little bit for. But like I say, eclipse is only a start. With this present place of the lunar nodes, the whole year the eclipses are taking place on your ascendant descendant. So you may need to be more careful, patient, loving in your romantic life, but also with partnerships like business deals, partnerships, you may need to be a little bit careful. And also once these eclipses are over, you may have new openings, new opportunities related to business. Now, because when one door closes, another opens, so in this sense. 6th house of yours, you have all these invisible planets. Yes, watch out a little bit for changes in your routine, in your work environment, and also be a little bit more responsible and careful for your health. Now, people who have sidereal ascendant Libra or moon in Libra, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Sagittarius. For you, Jupiter beautiful on your 7th house, supports your marriage, relationships, blessing on business. This is good. In March, the 3 invisible planets are meeting on your 5th house. Be a little bit more attentive with children. In the meantime, actually, this can be very fruitful period for artwork, creation of beauty, because the 3 planets are like the art. They have this intrinsic influence, because talent comes from within. So this particular conjunction can be like a muse for your artistic work, for your talented work, for creative knowledge, can be true blessing. for really gaining the most of knowledge, when you really search and research, creative work could be really, really brilliant. The eclipses take place on the axis of 12-6 houses. Yes, watch out for your health a little bit, also to make sure that you keep the peace and harmony in your routine environment. Also, watch out for enemies a little bit, so be diplomatic, be careful. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Scorpio or moon in Scorpio, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Sagittarius. Mars, as we speak, is still exalted in Capricorn. This is fine. In March, he enters this big conjunction between, Mars, Venus, Saturn, Mercury, Sun in your fourth house in Aquarius. This shows that eventual changes may take place related to property, home situations, but also career. This can have impact there. Yes, be a little bit more attentive, careful, with the parents. But in general, you have serious influence on your fourth house, which is about, yes, real estate, property, which is also influencing certainly your career place. So this axis is being influenced, and later on you may see changes taking place there. In the meantime, the first eclipse also takes place on your axis of 11th, 5th houses. Well, be more attentive, careful with children, but in general, when this axis is influenced, this may bring changes related to finances, yes, new financial projects, ideas, but also changes money-wise, changes in your interest, in your what studies are you, let's say, choosing, because fifth house is involved, fifth house of creative knowledge, creative studies. So there you may experience also changes. And these eclipses may bring you muse to create something beautiful, to study something new. And so now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Sagittarius or moon in Sagittarius, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Capricorn. Now for you, Jupiter, who rules you, your ascendant, is in your fifth house. This is very good. He blesses your children, creative knowledge, financially he's quite fine. This conjunction of many planets take place on your third house, so he may bring changes related to your media work, to your media appearance, relationships with brothers and sisters. Also, this conjunction may influence your studies, new studies, knowledge, but this may take a while after this conjunction is really over and the influence of this conjunction is over. So it's not like something that it's been decided in your third house related to your education, knowledge, creativity, brothers and sisters situation, media work, and so on. The eclipses take place on axis of 10th, 4th houses in your horoscope, directly related to your work, home, property situation. This will be influenced during the year, if you want, because this year we have 5 eclipses. So slowly, this axis will be triggered. Changes, modifications in your career place, but also some changes related to property, real estate. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Capricorn or moon in Capricorn, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this will be Aquarius. For you, eclipses take place on the axis of 9th, 3rd houses. This is fine in terms of, spiritual awakening. Spiritually, this is very interesting, very good, gives spiritual maturity if you want. Related to this can slow down certain current education and bring you new perspectives, new knowledge, new education. The eclipses will bring changes related to studies, education, communication with people abroad, eventually travel plans. This will be influenced, but not only now, also later with the second eclipse and so on. This conjunction of planets is taking place on your second house. Certainly, this will have impact on financial, financial developments. changes in the current financial situation, if you want, for you. But like I say, when they are conjoined, we don't see immediately the results, but a little bit after that. Jupiter is quite benevolent on your 5th house, gives a blessing on your home, aspects relationship, aspects your parents. So this is actually fine. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Aquarius or moon in Aquarius, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this is Pisces. Now the big conjunction of planets, invisible planets, take place right on your ascendant. This is strong. You will experience this as something emotionally big, important. Also, this can result in change just in your plans, because especially once this conjunction is not conjunction anymore, and when most of these planets become visible, you will see slowly where this is heading to. You will see what will be the new developments for you. And yes, there will be change exactly in your plans. But again, Saturn is already on your ascendant since 2023. He will be on your ascendant until late 2025. And this is already big in terms of your personal plans, achievements. Of course, depends how Saturn is placed in your horoscope. So only we can see what he is capable of bringing to you. The eclipses take place on your 2nd 8th house axis, directly impacts finances of partner, the axis of money in all its manifestations will be influenced. Finances via unexpected sources, money in general, there the eclipses will influence. Like after these 5 eclipses, if you want, you have major change in the direction of maybe how you make money and so. Also, this will be further influenced by the presence of Aquarius, on your 4th house, but this is for later. Jupiter is on your 3rd house, very good. He supports communication, harmony between brothers and sisters, travel. So in this sense, this is very fine. So let's see people who have sidereal ascendant Pisces, and moon in Pisces or tropical Aries. Now for you, the eclipses take place on your ascendant. Now the eclipse on 24-25 March takes place on your ascendant. This is big, always big when the eclipse is always. Now, how this will influence you, don't worry so much. Temporarily, you may feel you're a little bit locked, why things are not happening, why I don't feel very joyful, why I don't feel very motivated. Later on, you feel better. This will be the influence of the eclipse. The ancients, consider them a little bit, dramatic, because they always trigger change. These eclipses may trigger change in your personal plans, everything. Also, they can test your relationship. That's why you may need to be a little bit more diplomatic, careful in your romantic life. Also, partnerships, business, they can influence because of their place on your ascendant descendant axis. Jupiter on your 2nd house helps your finances. And this triple conjunction, 4 planet conjunction, is happening on your 12th house. Fine for your awakening if you want, fine for your spiritual work. Watch out a little bit for your health. Be alert and diplomatic and intuitive when it comes to eventually to enemies, but mainly be a little bit more responsible for your health. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was about the 12 ascendants March. Indeed, as you see, is very, very interesting.
Thank you very much, Krasi. I always love listening to your forecast because they're compact, fast, not much, so to the point. Thank you for joining us again. And if anyone would like to contact Krasi, I'm putting a link below in the description. Maybe there's a card as well. She has 2 promotional readings for the eclipses for this year, how they'll affect you or your natal birth chart through Babylonian astrology, looking at if you have visible and invisible planets as well, everything the way the ancients used to look at charts. And they're at a very discounted price. Thank you, Krasi.
Thank you, Wada. Thank you, everyone.
Have a fascinating March. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.